Welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sara. And I have Joe here, and we are sitting in a car in Needles, California, because we were supposed to record this episode yesterday or this morning. But, Joe, would you like to tell everybody where we were?
Yeah, we're in the Grand Canyon doing a rim to rim to rim hike.
Remember, you got to come a little closer to the mic.
Okay.
There's me always telling him what to do. I'm kidding.
Uh,
Actually, you know what? One of the things that we learned on this, there were so many things that we wish we would have brought. And I was like, we were packing for it. And I said, no, you don't need to bring that. No, you don't need to bring that. And then what ended up happening?
we wanted those things.
We wanted those
We
things.
wanted those things badly.
So I told him from now on, don't listen to me. Just do what you want because because we were stuck in the middle of the Grand Canyon with one less sleeping mat.
Mhm.
Then we only took one small sleeping mat, and we had a miscommunication, and we both had to like try to sleep on the one small one, and it was cold, and the rock was, oh my God, it was just crazy. It's
It tested
crazy.
patience. It tested the relationship.
And we're still laughing. So, okay, we decided for Valentine's Day that we wanted to go climb the Grand Canyon because that's my special place. That's where I've run retreats for 9 years. Can you believe that? And I wanted to take you there, and you
Had never been
had
there.
never been.
No.
And so we were trying to figure out what to do for Valentine's Day that was special. And we were going to meet in Phoenix and then go there together. And then, of course, my son ended up having a basketball game Friday night.
Yeah.
So we went to that, and then we drove to the Grand Canyon. We climbed it Saturday. We hiked down in Saturday night. We ended up It ended up being much more difficult than we thought. So we hiked rimmed from the south rim to the north rim,
Right.
Saturday night into Sunday. And then we decided, yeah, there's no way we're going to go all the way back because it took us over 24 hours total with the snow at the top of the North Rim. So we ended up sleeping, camping down at the bottom, and ended up climbing out. And literally, we have not showered in 3 days. If you're not watching this, go to YouTube because you can see what we look like when we have not showered in 3 days. Um, and it was epic. It was
Right.
absolutely epic. It was so hard. I am so sore right now. But it was absolutely like it was so much fun.
Yeah, and it took a little bit longer because I'd never been there. So we saw people there that would run the rim to rim to rim in a day. But I wanted to be able to see the scenery and enjoy it and not
Yes.
miss it. So that's not that we were going to run it anyway, but it took a little bit longer
It did take a little
because
longer. Yeah.
we wanted to enjoy it.
Yes. Well, I couldn't have gone any faster than what I did anyhow. It didn't matter. But
I
there
probably
was
couldn't either.
no, there was one guy that it took us 12 and a half, I believe, hours to go from the south rim to the north rim. And we ran into a guy up there because there was snow for, I think, it like the last mile and a half up
Yeah.
and a lot. And it was really slippery. And we ran into one guy up there who had run it for 6.5 hours. It only took him 6.5 hours to go from the south rim to the north rim. 6.5 hours. That's insanity.
And he did it in shorts.
And he did it in shorts
And
and
there's
alone.
2 feet of snow on the North Rim.
Yeah, it was crazy. But the whole thing that I have to say that I'm really proud of is the fact that, as my son said to me when we got out, I was called him, and he's like, "You can tick one more thing off your list. Like, just keep checking them off, right?" So Joe and I wanted to have a conversation about midlife because I think I'm 51. How old are you?
52,
So I'm 51. How old are you?
10 months older.
I always tease him about that. Like, you're a little older than me. But anyhow, so we were talking about how so many people start to uh they don't grow younger, they grow older. And I think the thing that my trauma, I don't know about you, you can speak for yourself, has taught me is the ability to grow younger because there's an appreciation and a gratitude for life that I didn't truly have for myself. I had it for everybody else, but not for myself. When I was married, because of course I was in that relationship, but then also going through that. And there was always this taking care of everybody else. And then when it flipped into being selfish is not being like, it's not selfish to put yourself first. It's actually a selfless act of wanting to become the best person that you can be for yourself, but then also for those people around you. And when I finally realized that it's okay to put yourself first and to find who you are and to find that better version of yourself, that's when I started growing younger. And so I wanted to talk to you about that, especially coming off the canyon.
Hmm.
Because 9 years later, after my first step in, which actually happened way before that, I was telling you over and over, I'm like, I am not the same person because I've done so much work in that area.
Right.
So, what would you like to state to that?
No, mine's a little bit simpler. Just getting older, you don't doesn't mean you have to slow down. Um, Creating space, making the time to do the things you enjoy. And it doesn't have to be hiking rim to rim to rim Grand Canyon. It can be as simple as Friday nights, you go for a walk in your neighborhood, sit by
Yeah.
your bird feeder. Um, Nature does a lot for us. I think it does a lot for everybody. Even those that don't think it can, I think you put them out there, it does. So, I mean, creating space and staying active.
Well, 100%. I think that that's actually one of the big things is that I think that let's start with being physically active. He and I were taking notes, and so I wanted to grab the notes for you. Um, but I think staying physically active is huge. And I think that so many people, oops, I think that so many people start to uh miss what once was, and so they give up on what is.
Hmm.
And where you were once like this active person where you could go where you would just jump in and play basketball or whatever sports that you love to do. And I think that when things start to happen when we get older, because we do have things happen to our bodies when we get older, um, instead of actually shifting what it is that we into what can we do, we become very just complacent in who I am because of the things that aren't working instead of realizing you have so much that is working. And so having gratitude for whatever it is that you can do is key. And just get outside, go for a walk around the block. Being present in nature 5 minutes a day literally shifts your mindset.
Hmm.
We were talking about this out there. When we were out there, I said, did you know that when you go outside and you gain a new perspective on any part of your life, which is what happens for me, like I'll be looking into the Grand Canyon and I'll realize, God, I'm so small compared to the problems in the world or whatever it is. And when you gain this new perspective, you actually shift the brain's neural pathways. You actually rewire your brain, and so there's so many good things that you can do when you're out in nature in terms of just finding yourself. So you do have to stay physically active along the way to keep your body, your mind,
Hmm.
and your spirit aligned.
People put, I think people put limits on themselves. Like they might watch a video of us hiking or anybody hiking or doing these things, and they're like, or how often have you heard somebody, if you do something exciting or go on a great vacation, go, it must be nice. I
Yes.
wish I could do that. And the fact of the matter is, you can. It might not be the same, but if you put the work in and get creative and make that space and don't have false guilt of what other people are thinking or needing you to be there all the time, you can definitely do things in life. And I think so often all these outside things in our environment, we let them control our life. And the reality is we have complete control.
Yeah.
We might have responsibilities. It's not saying throw those to the side, but so many people think they're limited or I can't do that. It must be nice. How can you, how much vacation do you have? All these
Okay.
things.
Time out. Like technically, like we fit this in
Mhm.
because we created the space for this because we had Christian's basketball game on Friday night.
Yep.
You have stuff going
I
on.
had my daughter's pep band on Thursday night.
Yep. And so we were like, okay, if you fly in on Friday, we can actually go to the game. We can drive there, get halfway. We can blah, 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 and figured it out. It's kind of like um, when you have a problem, reverse engineer the problem. So look at what is the solution that I want, who is it that I want to be, and how do I want to live, and then reverse engineer it and figure out the steps to make it happen. That's the best way that I can explain how we create every one of our trips.
Yeah.
Because you don't live here. You live in another state. You live halfway across the country, for goodness sakes. So, okay, so that's one. So, yes, you have to create the space and stay physically active. The second thing that we talked about was keeping your mind sharp and constantly staying curious.
Yeah. Ted Lasso, be curious.
Be curious. And
Yeah.
that means be curious in different things that you want to try. If something looks like it's interesting to you, go do it. Be curious in what you've never done before. Be curious in relationships. Be curious in work. Be curious in the things that you can say no to and the things that you can actually, say yes to. Keep going, Joe.
Oh, and don't assume,
Oh,
whether it's a
yes.
workplace or what somebody else's intentions were, never assume it. Ask questions. And you do a really good job of that to complete strangers. And sometimes it drives me crazy.
Like on the trail, this,
On the
this,
trail, it's like,
this,
come on. They don't need any more information about the canyon. Yes, you know a lot. But
it's
when
true.
people are around you, they don't have to be curious because you tell them. But that whole concept of curious isn't just, I mean, it's like anything. You just ask the question or do the research. If you want to go on this trip, research it. There's probably a cheaper way to do everything a certain time of the year that the tickets are half price. Whatever it is, ask the questions, research it. If it's something that, excites you or you might enjoy doing.
I want to go to Antarctica
And I want to go to the Maldives.
and I want to go to the Arctic. And you want to go to Europe and I want to go to. And so we were talking about that too, like creating the list of things. What are the list of things that we still want to do in this second part of our life together,
Hmm.
right? Okay. And then the last thing, which is actually goes into this, prioritize your relationships and your purpose. And so, relationships are the one, first of all, prioritize the right relationships. Because let me tell you, people will blood suck you dry if you allow them to. You stop enabling the people that have to get their own crap together. Realize that you're not for everyone and not everyone is for you. Make your circle smaller so that you can truly put the positive energy to the things that matter. uh, what else? Do you want to keep going? I
Um,
could keep going
put
on
in the
that.
work, right?
Put in the work.
No relationship's perfect and fun all the time. If it's worth it, you'll work for it. You'll take your partner's perspective or the things they like to do in consideration, and you try to create the list. And you got to create space for each other. Like one of our early episodes, I always referred to it to leftovers. We shouldn't
That
give
was a good
everything
one.
to everybody else and to work and come home to your most important person and family and give them all the leftovers and be short with them or say, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed, I don't feel like doing that, I worked all day. Because if you catch yourself saying that or you're hearing it from the other side, that's a timeout in the relationship to really sit down. You should be creating space for date nights, for going on adventures, vacations,
For
a quiet
podcasts.
a quiet dinner a quiet dinner at home is create the space, and you definitely have that choice. It's not like I wish I could but I got da da da. Believe me, if you can create space for all those other things, you sure as heck can do it for somebody that's important to you.
That's important to you. That's the big thing. That's important to you. And if you're not creating the space for it, then there's a reason for it.
Yep.
Right. And sometimes, look, like sometimes we do have responsibilities that we are, we have to fulfill. That's fine. As long as that part's not taking over your life and you're putting everybody else first and your partner and those friendships and those people that are important to you, don't
And
put them second.
yourself.
And yourself. Absolutely. Well, and that's actually a really good point because the thing that I always say is the number one most important relationship that you can be in is that one with yourself. Um, don't look to other people to fulfill your happiness, right? Or the things that you want in life. That's on you. Like you got to figure out your own freaking happiness and you got to put yourself first. And so prioritizing relationships means also prioritizing that relationship with yourself. And then with that goes the purpose, like your own why, right? And making sure that you're being able to fulfill the things that you want to do in this lifetime because you only have this one lifetime that we know of. And so, like me wanting to write a book or wanting to speak or whatever it is, I was like, I can't imagine like I'm going to regret not trying the things that are calling to my heart and soul. So if I'm going to leave this earth regretting that I didn't do something, what a crappy way to leave this earth.
Hmm.
So at least try. Like what could go wrong? I mean, right? Everything could go right. The only one of the things that could go wrong is the fact that you never tried in the first place.
Yeah.
So, you want to add to that?
No, you said it well, because at the end of the day, you'll probably have a lot of regrets if you're not going out and living. You're going to wish you would have spent more time doing all sorts of things that you enjoy or the people you like being around.
You know,
Um,
keep going. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, babe.
Oh no, I mean, that was basically it. I mean, yeah, do it now. What's to lose? You don't want to go out of here with having regrets.
No. I mean, I'm so glad that I messaged you back 30
Yeah.
days late.
Yeah. If you you don't
But at
sacrifice
least I
now,
did it.
yeah. You
At
don't
least I did it.
you don't sacrifice now for the things you want to do in life, you're gonna sacrifice your happiness at the end of life.
Yeah. So that's our podcast about staying young, growing younger. Somebody mentioned this to me. We were talking, I don't know how the conversation or who, I don't even remember who it was with, but we were having this big conversation about aging. And I'm like, I'm growing younger. Oh, I know what it was. I put in for a speaking engagement and
Mhm.
that's what it was. I put in for a speaking engagement and one of the questions was about age. And I'm like, well, I'm 51 growing younger, right? And so that's to me the most beautiful thing. The most beautiful gift of all the crap I've lived through is the fact that
I make you younger.
you, you make me, our times together make me younger. That I am so freaking happy on the other side of all of it. And I will continue to be that and more.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. So, first one, stay physically fit, get yourself moving and grooving,
Keep moving.
keep moving. And that means moving forward every day. It's physically in whatever it is that you are choosing to do in life. Keep stay physically active. The second thing that we talked about was keeping your mind sharp and curious. Get curious with the things in life that are calling to your heart and soul. And then the third is prioritizing relationships and your purpose.
Yep.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that was good.
I think it was great, Joe. Um, so good. So I have a question for you before we get off.
Yeah.
So we do this thing with my niece, and it's
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I'll pow chow something.
Yeah, yeah. Wow Pow Chow. At the end of our trips, at the end of the day, we would be on these, 7 day backcountry trips or 9 day, whatever. And at the end of the day, when we did the Sierra High route too, at the end of the day, we would sit around the camp around camp together and whoever was there, and we did our your wow pow chow. What was your wow, your highlight of the day? What was your pow, the most difficult part of the day? And then your chow, your favorite food. But we're gonna do it over the 48 miles that we're together hiking rim to rim to rim.
Right. Okay.
So, what was your wow, your pow, your chow?
The wow was the sheer awe of the canyon itself, how it's carved out, the beauty of it. It's just absolutely amazing. What's the next one? The
Pow,
the
the
pow.
hard or the
Ele-
crappy or the sucky?
elevation.
Oh God.
Elevation. Oh my God. There's times that I just felt like throwing in the towel, and just like I felt like I was just making the smallest steps and wanted to take a break about every 10 seconds. It was hard but invigorating too.
Yes. And your chow.
The chow,
Oh, I know what the
probably
chow
on
is.
this one,
God.
was either the ready to eat meal, the spaghetti with meat sauce,
Yep.
and probably right alongside it the saltwater taffy. Saltwater taffy on the
Oh,
trail is so
that
good.
was epic. That was really
Yeah.
good. Okay,
How about
so
you?
my wow was watching you love that space so much because it's a space that I've loved so much for so long.
Thank you.
So looking at it through the lens of your curious, new adventurous, like not new adventurous, but you're this space that you've never been in before
Right.
was really cool for me. So I appreciate that. I'm grateful for that.
Thank
That
you.
was really cool. You're welcome. And then my POW would be the last, well, no, actually, gosh, I don't know.
The first night in the tent.
Yes.
That's probably definitely my pal. I thought he might die from hypothermia.
Joe. And I'm like, we're putting that to, we always like, we like give each other jobs or whatever. We just kind of both step into whatever. And when I said, I go, okay, well, why don't you grab out your sleeping pad? And the look on your face when you were like, I, I thought you brought the sleeping pad. I said, well, yeah, I brought mine. And you were like, the look on his face of like, oh shit. You meant we were only bringing one sleeping bag to keep the light down, but we needed to bring two pads because the pads, obviously, you don't want to just sleep on the ground in the winter because it's freaking freezing.
I did.
So did I, different times. And we were both trying to be on this itty bitty little pad that fits like me, I'm like 5'5", and it was so funny. So I would, and we laughed it off. We laughed it off. So I would say it would be that or the last trek up the North Rim. That was really, really, really hard in the snow. That was very hard. Um,
Ciao.
yeah, my chow, oh, spaghetti, duh, the
Yeah,
spaghetti.
that was really good.
When we got up to the North Rim, I laid down the tent mat, like the mat that
Mhm.
goes underneath the tent, and then
Just a
we
jet
made
boil to
made
make
the jet.
spaghetti.
Yeah, we had a jet boil and we made spaghetti, and we're sitting up on top of the North Rim in the snow, and it was so peaceful and so beautiful. And the North Rim's closed down, so there weren't any people, and it was just epic. And you laid down on the mat, and you were just like sunglasses on, loving the sun, and that
Mhm.
just made me very happy. So, yep, that would be my wow pow chow. Okay, well, listen to all of you. Thank you for being here and joining us in our car in Needles.
We still have many hours of drive.
Hours of driving to go, and we're gonna stop and eat
IHOP.
at the IHOP in Barstow because that's where we went for Valentine's night on the way there.
We're the only ones there too. It's kind of nice. We're scaring everybody away. We don't have to be around people.
I was like, thanks, babe, for reserving this entire IHOP just for us. So anyhow, so we're gonna go do that. And thank you for being here. We are gonna have some shifts to the podcast. It's gonna definitely be going more so on YouTube than anything. More on that later. Stay tuned on that. And if there's anything that you would like us to talk about, please jump in and let us know. We'd love to be a part of helping you work through anything. And I think that's it. Please rate, review, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at Sarah Schulten Crayons. It's in the show notes. Please go subscribe to that and then hit the bell so you can get all the stuff that comes through, so that it'll tell you, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's late. I'm tired. I've hiked 48 miles.
Yeah.
Um, and then share it with your friends and your family, and let's keep getting it out there. And go subscribe away. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
Shall we
That's a
go?
wrap. That's a wrap.
That's
Let's
a
get on the
wrap.
road.
These 50-plus-year-olds are gonna keep going home. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate you. And couldn't do any of it without the world that this community. All right. I'm out. Peace.